let's get loud, get those flags in the air for your New Mexico United. Here's tonight's starting lineup for your New Mexico United. In goal, number 1, Alex.
Número 3, defensor, Chris.
A defender and captain, number 12, Talent.
Número 19, defensor, Zico.
Settles. Voice! Unreal! That is a dazzler! We're doing it!
Hello everyone and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, the home to Route 66 and the site of tonight's Group 2 matchup at the USL Jägermeister Cup between New Mexico United and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Welcome into the lab, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyler Ortega, and I'm joined tonight by former University of New Mexico women's soccer player Dallas Bruce. And we'd like to let you know that Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Well, Dallas, now that we've got the formalities out of the way, this one going to be a ton of fun between these two teams. It's their second matchup in just 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here and out here watching. I know it's going to be a great game between the two of us, and I'm just excited.
Let's have a look at our players to watch here, brought to you by Toyota. We're going to start off first with New Mexico, and we're keeping an eye on the Brazilian. He's coming off a goal and an assist. His last time out, Dallas, it's Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando, he likes to play on the left. He wants to cut in and shoot with his right. He's very dangerous at taking defenders on. He has lots of pace when he has his movement in behind, and he's super creative with the ball at his feet.
And on the other side here, it's a familiar face for New Mexico United fans. He's only got 87 appearances for Switchbacks over the last handful of years. It's the Las Cruces native, Christian Herrera.
Yeah, Christian, he's a veteran who brings a lot of height, standing at 6'7". He has leadership, He's good with the ball at his feet. He has a couple of clean sheets this season, and I'm just looking forward to this battle between the two of them.
These two are going to be squaring off as Fernando looking to add to his goal tally. We'll go ahead and step aside. The 2025 New Mexico United season is brought to you by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary. Lineups and kickoff when we return.
At Blake's, we're proud to call our food fresh. We think every burger should be cooked to order and fresh off the grill. This patty's big, blockbuster big, and 100% Angus beef. Now, the finishing touch. This is a superior meat to bun ratio for the best burgers your mouth's ever tasted. Blake's Fresh Take is worth the wait.
This is Robert reading for Victor, in action.
Mary, I love you more than anything, but this student debt, it's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
Now you're angry. Go.
But this student debt, it's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
You're full of sorrow.
I'm drowning.
And cut. Great. We'll be in touch.
Good thing I went to C&M.
How about Mary?
Back here at the lab, it is Pride on the Pitch night. The presenting sponsor for tonight's match is Sheehan Winery. Let's have a look at our starting lineups here this evening. Brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates in Dallas. No changes for head coach Dennis Sanchez from the side that pulled out a dramatic late win last week against San Antonio. Who are you looking out for here this evening?
I'm looking at our forwards this evening, with the pace that they have. They're building a lot of chemistry now that they've played a couple games together, and I'm super excited to see what they can do tonight.
And on the other side here for the visitors, this is how James Chambers rolls his side out. Now, Switchbacks coming off a matchup on Wednesday night, also against San Antonio, so we see a lot of rotation here tonight.
Yeah, I think, just resting some people's legs. I'm trying a new people in the formation, seeing if they can, create a win or something tonight.
Fontana created several chances against San Antonio on Wednesday. This kickoff tonight brought to you by Bank of America. That is Nabil Ben Salah. He's our center official. He'll be running the show tonight. Assistants on either side. You've got Christian Clerk, Carson Frizel Thomas, and our fourth official tonight is Bowen Taylor. Switchbacks in the all-white uniform. New Mexico United, typically in black and yellow. Dallas, however, tonight wearing some different threads in the Pride Night specialty kit this evening. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I love them. A different, it's still black, but a pop of color, a little bit different, but super sleek. I love them.
This one should be fun here tonight between these two rivals. This the second meeting in just 3 weeks. Switchbacks were here 3 weeks ago to the date, actually. It was on June 7th. That one ended in a 1-1 draw. Marlon Vargas on the score sheet that day for New Mexico. Kalen Ryden with an own goal that day as we're underway here from the lab. A crowd of over 10,500 expected here this evening. This ball already bouncing around here. Talon Maples able to get a foot to it for a moment, and our official has it signaled for a foul, so this will bring up a TLC free kick. TLC Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. That is the captain tonight, Talon Maples, the 25-year-old out of Texas, the former Dynamo 2 man, where he also wore the captain's armband. He's been tremendous in that center back role for the past couple of seasons, Dallas.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's brought in a lot of leadership, I think, this year as well with Kalen Ryden, being out for however long he is with that injury.
You and I saw Kalen Ryden down pitch side just before kickoff. He seemed to be in good spirits. Obviously had his arm in the sling. It was announced that broke his collarbone in that match against Lexington, so expected to be out somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks. But for now, Talon Maples, who's first-year co-captain, actually voted this year. It's his second year with the club. So going here for Switchbacks and having trouble locating a ball, it seems like. Also seems like they're not very inclined to get this ball in play very soon.
Yeah, no, not at all. They seem fine taking their time and they don't really have a care to throw the ball in right now.
Tonight, the 17th contest between these two opponents, separated by about a 6-hour drive up I-25 North, we'll call it. Two familiar foes. New Mexico does hold the edge all time in this series. 11 wins compared to 4 wins for Switchbacks. Just 2 draws. As we mentioned, the most recent time they got together, the 16th edition, was one of those 2 draws. So another TLC free kick coming up here, this time for Switchbacks. It's Aiden Rocha. So this one tonight, as we've alluded to a few times, a Jägermeister Cup match, not a USL Championship match. And so the group standings really starting to take shape. New Mexico in second place in Group 2. Coming into tonight, Colorado Springs in third place in Group 2. Group 2 is led by San Antonio FC, they've got 7 points so far. Group play. So a win here for either side would go a very long way towards punching their ticket into the knockout rounds. Keep in mind it is only the top 2 teams out of each group to advance. This is a group of 7. Free kick coming in here. The outside of the box, Hanya plays it out. The strike, and it just goes wide. It was Fontana, and it was judged to have been deflected. So a corner kick coming up here for Switchbacks.
Yeah, that was a very dangerous set piece for the Switchbacks. Didn't seem like United had a lot of their, defenders, who they were marking. So hopefully they can get that down in this.
Here comes the corner. Aiden Rocha standing over it. Looking near post, and it takes a hop through in a dangerous area. Tejada gets a boot to it. It's headed away by Talon Maples. Switchbacks able to settle. There's Fontana showing some quick feet. Johnson. Instead, he turns the ball over. This ball cleared all the way back into the Switchbacks half, and it's going to go all the way back to Christian Herrera. So a player to watch tonight, coming off a clean sheet in his most recent Jägermeister Cup appearance. It was against El Paso back in late May. So it's been a while. Johnson, ball at his feet. And he's got Jalen Lindsay riding him pretty hard. Johnson has a pop, and that was going high the whole way. It's going to be a goal kick here for New Mexico.
Colorado Springs are coming out hot. I think they're trying to get a goal in this first half for sure.
Look at Dennis Sanchez on the New Mexico touchline. His first season with the club, and has been an incredible start. First place in league play, atop the Western Conference at 25 points. And they've been perfect here at home in Jägermeister Cup play. They have the 1 win over Union Omaha, of course, losing in penalties. I should say a draw, and then dangerous here. Ball taken away. The offside flag is up on Fernando. Just didn't have the opportunity to get back behind the defender.
Yeah, I would.
A little coming together. I'm sure they're just discussing where they're going to have dinner after the match tonight.
Of course, nothing, all pleasantries.
But that, a dangerous turnover that was forced.
Yeah.
It was Fernando initially, and then Vargas tried to play him on, but Fernando absolutely in an offside position by at least a step and a half.
Guards position.
Well, Marlon Vargas, he has been a man in form. He scored last weekend, Dallas. He put the nail in the coffin in the 4th minute of second half stoppage time against San Antonio. But not only that, he scored in the lone Open Cup game that New Mexico played against El Paso about a month and a half ago. And then he also scored in the most recent Jägermeister Cup game as well. And so this man can't stop scoring.
Yeah.
So we have a look at James Chambers, the defending league title winner.
Yeah, both teams very aggressive, straight from the kickoff. A lot of fouls so far.
These two familiar opponents. Certainly, there's got to be a little bit of something to that, Dallas, a team you see so often.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of start knowing people on the other team, and, maybe they're not so friendly.
What a touch. Here comes Makwele Akale, plays it in. Fernando just couldn't get a touch to it. It was begging to be tapped home.
Oh, for sure. That was a great ball by Akale, and, Fernando just couldn't get the final touch on it.
Goal kick coming up here for Switchbacks. That's going to give us time for this 5:29 game update. Brought to you by the Education Plan. That's New Mexico's state-sponsored 529 plan. You can give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. Let's have another look at that, Dallas. What a touch from Zico Bailey that sprung Makwele Akale forward, and then that ball in a dangerous area, searching for the Brazilian, just couldn't get to it.
Yeah, very dangerous area. Great ball played in. I think he could have taken a little bit of time, maybe, tried to hit it across the frame, but, hopefully he gets another one back.
Fernando, one of 5 New Mexico United players with 1 goal in Jägermeister Cup play. So no leading scorer in that category for New Mexico. We've got Fernando, Miquele Akale, Mackenzie Gaines, who's on the bench tonight, Marlon Vargas and Talon Maples, all with a goal apiece in the 2 Jägermeister Cup matches. Here's Lindsay. Jalen Lindsay coming off a goal scored last Saturday on this pitch as well. He opened up the party against San Antonio 10 minutes in. It was his first league goal in over 2 years. Foster flicks this one on, and it'll be played back to Herrera as he does his best to clear this ball away.
Yeah, that was just great pressure, seeing a slow ball and pressing the keeper, hoping maybe he can turn it over and kick the ball out. That's exactly what he did. Keys
to the game here for New Mexico, brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Positive outcomes for all New Mexicans. Be on the front foot. Maintain that positive momentum. New Mexico coming off 2 wins in the past 7 days and reclaim the top spot, alluding to group number 2. Vargas had a little tug. Play on, says Nabil Ben Salah. There's Maples. Maples and most of the starters played 45 minutes against FC Juarez on Wednesday night in that international friendly. As we have a quick look at the Ben Sherman Law injury report. Injured at work. Ben Sherman can help. Talk about a couple of guys who New Mexico itching to get back. The speedster on the wings, Dayon Harris. He's been out for over a year now with the ACL injury. He's been working his way back, getting closer and closer to a return. So, Dallas, you were talking about the speed of this New Mexico United attacking line. You sprinkle in a guy like Dayon Harris, who, before the knee injury, one of the fastest players in the league. It's going to be tough for Dennis Sanchez whenever it comes to squad selection. As this one comes into Tejada, and the second header eventually cleared by Maples. Switchbacks looking to settle it once again.
Yeah. Yeah, the switchbacks are just being super aggressive, getting forward, getting into those half spaces, turning, going wide, and, getting a cross in. So
Tusla. There's Hanya. Yosuke Hanya, vital piece of that championship run last year. Scored 5 times, had a couple of assists with Colorado Rapids 2 prior to coming over to Switchbacks. There's Matusla. Zandy now. Zandy, long ball.
They've hit that long ball a couple times already. I think that's, their game plan. What they're looking for is to get into that wide area and then cross the ball in.
Quick look at current conditions down here in the Duke City. It's a warm one, Dallas. 92 degrees. It's a perfect summer day.
Yeah, very hot, but I think they're used to it by now. At least United should be used to it. Colorado Springs, maybe not so much.
Maybe not the heat, but they do have the altitude.
Yes, they do.
That they are used to as well. This ball pinged here for Matt Real on the near side. Real plays it in. Zandy that let it run. The shot attempt, I couldn't tell if it was blocked, and yes, it was. As Tambakis and this United defense concede the corner kick, but early on, Dallas, it's Colorado Springs asking all the questions.
Yeah, they're getting into these spaces right in between their midfield and the defensive people, and they're just getting open, shots.
I believe that was Anthony Fontano once again. No Marco Micheletto here this evening for Switchbacks. The former New Mexico United man found himself involved in several attacking plays on Wednesday against San Antonio. Here comes the corner from Rocha. Near post, doesn't beat the first man, but falls all the way to Hanya and sends this out of play. So give us time to let you know that the USL is on CBS Sports Network. Continues the first week of July with 3 hot matchups. Birmingham Legion FC take on Charleston Battery at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, July 2nd. Then you've got last season champs, these guys that we're watching here tonight, Switchbacks, welcoming Louisville City on Friday. That's 4th of July. That's a 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern kickoff. And finally, Charleston Battery will battle it out with North Carolina FC on Sunday, July 6th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Throw in here for New Mexico. Chris Gloucester. Gets this ball into Thomas Among. Among, he's been seen an increase in playing time recently with the injury to Greg Hurst. I've got to say, Dallas, for somebody who wasn't getting a ton of playing time prior to that, Among has seemed to settle in. Is Fernando looking to link up with Zico and going back the other way now, but going back to Thomas Among, he was the difference maker against FC Juarez. That match ended 1-0 in favor of New Mexico, and it was Among who scored the lone goal as Johnson looking to poke this through. Like he was looking for the run of Fontana and instead finds the arms of Alex Tambakis, but Thomas Among starting to settle in.
Yeah, I mean, that's big shoes to fill with Greg Hurst being out, but he is definitely settling in, you know, finding his role on the team and doing a really good job of it.
So down went, I believe it's Gideon Zalalem. Fontana getting a talking to from the official. So it'll be a free kick coming up here for New Mexico. It was Gideon Zalalem. Played the first half against FC Juarez on Wednesday. Got to kick his feet up and watch a whole new host of outfield players come in for the second 45 and hold on for that victory. It was actually the first ever victory for New Mexico in an international friendly. This ball goes long. Here's Vargas on the end of it. Vargas has just been playing with a ton of confidence. And how's that? The nutmeg. The cross went in, cleared away by Matusala. But Vargas, as we were just alluding to, brimming with confidence.
Yeah, great job by him, you know, taking that defender on and sticking with it. You know, didn't happen the first time, but then, you know, the nutmeg came out in a great cross in.
Now, Dallas, you're a center back. What's that film study going to be like when they replay that nutmeg?
It's going to be a lot of laughing from the teammates and you shaking your head in disbelief that it actually happened.
Vargas was looking to connect with Akale and the back post, and that ball just goes wide. No problem for Herrera. And that's one of those that immediately, I think it was Tyler Clegg that had the unfortunate opportunity to defend Marlon Vargas one-on-one down there in that corner. And
yeah, as a center back, getting nutmegged is not the best thing in the world.
Ball hit long from Herrera, looking to link up with the speedster, Levante Johnson. He does. Johnson plays this out. Fontana now cross goes in. Tejada almost got a touch to it. Instead, we've got a corner kick coming up here for Switchbacks.
Yeah, the Switchbacks are looking, you know, for that right wing, and they've played that multiple times, and they're being very successful getting corners and corners.
Rocha is going to head over to deliver. So both of these fan bases will have their eye on San Antonio and Union Omaha, with SAFC currently up 1-0 in that one, just 18 minutes in. So really the winner of this one tonight puts themselves in a great position to move on out of this group. Rocha sends the corner in. Jabang with the initial header. Be a throw in here for the visitors. Also keeping an eye on Phoenix Rising in their match against Texoma. How about this? League One Texoma currently leading Phoenix Rising 3-2. That's 47 minutes in. So again, we'll continue to monitor those ones and see if we can determine a picture as this match progresses. But both of these sides know here tonight, Dallas, that they can't focus on those things. They've got to focus on getting a win and 3 points here.
Yeah, definitely. A win, helps them with their own destiny. They don't have to see, the other games or, hopefully this team ties or this team loses. So a win definitely helps both of them.
Here's Gloucester. Gloucester taken down by Johnson in disbelief. There you see some of the Switchbacks players. This will be a free kick coming up here for New Mexico. Into the 20th minute we go. It's been a lot of fun so far.
It has. A lot of physicality, a couple good chances for both teams. We'll see who gets one in the back of the net first.
All right, fans, get loud, get those flags in the air.
Gloucester taken out again, and Gloucester really feeling that one. Gloucester is going to receive some attention from the medical staff here. We'll take another look on this TLC replay. It was Johnson again. That's the second time in 2 minutes that Johnson has come together. Johnson, by the way, has been shown a yellow card. That yellow card brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years.
Yeah, I think that yellow card was definitely warranted. Second foul in 2 minutes, and not really going for the ball in that one, I don't think.
Gloucester still on his back, receiving some attention from the staff. We'll get one more look here. Is ouch. Yeah, you can see that ankle just kind of got pinned up underneath him as Johnson came through. Yeah, it's tough. Bit cynical and punished with the yellow card as Johnson still trying to plead his case.
Yeah. He's going to have to be a little careful now. An early yellow, is never good.
And this is something to keep an eye on here for Chris Gloucester. He missed a chunk of time earlier this season due to an injury. And so New Mexico United fans holding their breath. Well, while we've got a moment, fans, we'd like to let you know that you can watch the USL in Spanish on TUDN. That's the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Dennis Sanchez also just with some words, checking on Chris Gloucester as Glossy's up on his feet at least, which is good news.
Very good news.
So Miquele Akale and Marlon Vargas will stand over this one for New Mexico.
This is in a very dangerous area. Let's see if New Mexico can get something on the end of this.
A lot of score updates here for you in the top left corner. How about that? Penalties for 2 of our matches so far. As a reminder, in Jägermeister Cup play, if we reach 90 minutes with a tied score, well, each team gets a point, but then we go straight to penalties where they'll battle for another point. So that ball in, headed away. Zalalem now looks to re-enter. Cleared out by Matusla. From New Mexico, and there was nobody else that had a chance at that ball aside from Christian Herrera.
Absolutely not. He definitely had that ball regardless of anybody challenging him or not.
That's just one of the perks of being 6'7" there, Dallas.
Yeah, definitely the tallest soccer player that I've seen in a while.
Headed away by Maples. Finds Among. Akale Vargas looking for Fernando. Plays him on. Here's Fernando, and it's tapped home. Thomas Among has scored his second goal this week.
Yeah, a brilliant ball played in by Fernando and a great finish by Among.
Well, Thomas Among, he saw his 5 teammates with 1 goal apiece in Jägermeister Cup play, said, I want to get in on the party. Taps that ball home from Fernando. And speaking of Fernando, our player to watch, pulling the strings, making the plays, right place, right time. The Brazilian and the Cameroonian in form for New Mexico.
Yeah, Fernando's not only looking, to create goal-scoring opportunities for himself, but also for his teammates, looking for that extra pass to see the open player for sure.
Big time for Thomas Among. If we count the friendly goal, that's his 3rd goal of the season in all competitions. That goal scored by Thomas Among is brought to you by New Mexico Orthopedics, getting you back to you. Well, Thomas Among looking to get back to his old goal-scoring ways. This is a guy who scored 15 goals for Orange County over the previous 2 seasons. So New Mexico, you talk about looking for a reliable not just backup scorer, but in the role that he's in now is their primary number 9, Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job, like I said, filling in that role. And, if he can keep scoring these goals, I think he'll find a role, for himself.
Usman Jabang rises up to head this ball away and poked away now by Lindsay. New Mexico turn and look to break. Here comes Zico Bailey. He's got options. Still Zico, threads it through. Here's Among. And he just loses his footing. A bit unlucky there for the goal scorer.
Yeah, I agree. Very unlucky. Great, penetration by Zico Bailey. Keeping the ball and just running at them until, make them make a decision.
Lindsay gets it back from Among. Cross goes searching. Gloucester, terrific physical play to win the throw in there. So New Mexico looking to add to their tally, as they've really tilted the field, Dallas. It was Switchbacks asking most of the questions through the opening 13, 15 minutes maybe, and since then, New Mexico, they've turned this one on its head.
Yeah, they definitely have the momentum now. Like you said, Switchbacks had a couple really good opportunities to start the game, but didn't put any away. So unfortunate for them, very fortunate for United.
Foul called against the Brazilian. It's going to be a free kick for Switchbacks. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Tyler Ortega alongside former University of New Mexico women's soccer player Dallas Bruce. Dallas, you're a 5-year player at the University of New Mexico, just literally right across the street from us here.
Yeah, very familiar with this area of town.
Johnson, this is Fontana. Tejada and Switchbacks equalize just 4 minutes later. And it's the final MVP, Juan Tejada, pulling one back.
Yeah, that was a great job by him, staying calm and composed in the box. getting the ball, facing up, and having a great shot.
Well, just as we were talking about how New Mexico have been the more dangerous side, Switchbacks, they say not so fast.
Yeah, exactly. They show us exactly what they were doing in the first 15 minutes. Now back to even.
And so when you're out there on the pitch and you go up 1-0 and 5 minutes later concede the equalizer, what does that do for you mentally?
Yeah, I mean, it's super hard. Actually, there's a statistic in soccer that you're most likely to get scored on or score after, in the first 5 minutes after someone scores. So, you know, with scoring a goal and getting scored on in 5 minutes later, you know, that's more probable than after that.
So we take another look here. Juan Tejada bags his first goal in Jägermeister Cup play. So he's able to get that one past Usman Jabang. That's his second goal in all competitions this season. And it's back to level terms here. 30 minutes in. Gorgeous night for soccer here in Albuquerque. Zico Bailey, he's got the crowd oohing and awing with these turns. Finds Fernando. This ball poked out by Matt Real. Vargas couldn't quite link up with Fernando.
You know, now that the game is, you know, back to even, I think both teams can kind of take a deep breath and, you know, settle back into the game.
Here's Among, and Thomas Among unable to keep that ball in play. And we mentioned the anticipated crowd here tonight of over 10,500. We got to give a big shout out. There's a small contingent of traveling Colorado Springs fans up here in the visitors section. I want to say there's at least 30, maybe 40 of them that made the trip down. There they are. Let's give them some love. Love seeing the visiting fans out here at the lab. They're being treated to a good one here tonight. Nice little dummy there from Bailey is... turns into something dangerous. Here's a Kale. He lost his footing for a second, goes down, and pointing to the penalty spot is Nabil Ben Salah. New Mexico with an opportunity to take the lead.
Yeah, he lost his footing, you know, a little bit, but then the defender should have just kept their feet, and, you know, they didn't. So this is a big chance for New Mexico United coming up right here.
Huge chance, and we anticipate it'll be Talon Maples stepping up to take this kick. So Maples, actually, he scored his first goal as a penalty against Colorado Springs here last year on Pride Night.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence indeed, as Maples walking his way up to the penalty spot. It's Fernando that's holding the ball initially, and he'll turn that over as the Switchbacks players pleading their case. You see the goal scorer, Juan Tejada.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, you know, pleading your case to the ref, 99% of the time, you're not going to change the referee's mind.
And they still all do it.
Yep.
Well, this is Maples. As you mentioned, he scored in this fixture last year on this pitch. Stakes were a little bit higher. It was second half stoppage time of a 0-0 match. This time looking to put New Mexico ahead. 2-1 here, 33 minutes in.
Yeah, so far this game is filled with action and some goals, so hopefully we can get some more of that.
Some mind games being played here by the keeper, Christian Herrera. He's not even in goal.
No, trying to get, you know, Talon off of his routine. That's what, as a player, that's what, you know, penalties are, routine. Trying to do the same thing. Don't let, you know, the antics get to you.
And now look at this. Herrera, he's walking over and picking up the ball.
Yeah, definitely mind tricks, just trying to get.
And shown a yellow card for all of the antics there. Well, let's see if it was all worth it. It's Talon Maples stepping up to the spot. Maples with 3 goals in all comps so far this year, all from the spot. There's Talon Maples. Maples beats the keeper. New Mexico retake the lead.
Yeah, just a clinical penalty by Maples. You knew exactly where he was going the whole time, and the antics were not worth it for her, it seems like.
4th goal in all competitions this season for the captain, Talon Maples. All 4 of them coming from the penalty spot. It's an area that New Mexico needed somebody to step up in, and the captain has done so.
Yeah, great to have, someone to rely on for penalties. It can be very nerve-wracking.
That goal brought to you by New Mexico Orthopedics, getting you back to you. Talon Maples gets New Mexico United back on top.
Yeah, 3 goals in the first half. This game is going great so far. Super excited.
35 minutes in as New Mexico retake the lead. This has been a ton of fun so far, as it usually is between these two. There's still one more day on the calendar for these two clubs this season. They have the league play return fixture back up in Colorado Springs on September 24th. That a reschedule from April 5th. Remember, there was some inclement weather that was expected up in the Springs, and so that match rescheduled. So they'll do it again one more time after tonight, and potentially later on in the USL Championship Western Conference playoffs. Back to this one. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. You can visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Kick coming up here for Switchbacks. I believe Rocha that got fouled.
Yeah, men's soccer is a little bit different from women's soccer, I can tell you that.
Here's Rocha standing over this one, sun in his eyes. Going with the old hand visor. Sticks his right foot through it. Clegg with the initial header. Second header cleared away by Maples. Finds the feet of Johnson. Rocha tries again, almost same spot. New Mexico now looking to break. It's Makwele Akale. He's got Among on his horse, and Herrera has to come out and tap it away. Clegg. Playing this forward as Fontana was chasing. Clegg was fouled, so a free kick coming up here for the visitors. Tyler Clegg, the 25-year-old, spent some time with the Portland Timbers system. The past couple years made 44 appearances for their 2-team in MLS Next Pro. Tusla. There they go back to that same ball there again, Dallas. That's at least the 3rd, maybe 4th time this first half that they've tried that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that that's where they're trying to get the ball. That one, a little too heavy of a ball played, but, the other times it has been successful. So I wouldn't be shocked if they continue to keep doing that ball.
Tejada plays this back for Johnson. Fontana now, he'll let it fly from this angle. New Mexico has to close him down, and they do. Tejada, cross goes in, and it's just over the crossbar. Switchbacks looking to ask some questions here before halftime.
Yeah, definitely getting in that dangerous space, like I said earlier, right behind United's midfield in front of their back four. They're being very successful getting shots.
40 minutes gone by, 5 minutes plus stoppage left in this first half. It's Alex Tambakis, all-time leader in saves in the USL Championship play. Only 649 career saves, Dallas.
Only, yeah, that's a lot. And, he really helps our back line and, has a lot of leadership.
Foul called there against Gideon Zalalem, and Zalalem now goes into the officials' book here in the 40th minute.
Yeah, very physical matchup. 3 or 2 yellow cards? 3. Yeah, 3 this half, so they have to be a little bit cautious. I wouldn't be surprised if there were more.
And at the first yellow card for New Mexico, it was Levante Johnson and Christian Herrera both getting booked in the 21st and 34th minutes, respectively. Now, Zalalem joins them. This is Zalalem, the former Arsenal man. Fernando. Zalalem just couldn't control that.
No, I didn't think he knew what he was going to do with the ball, so kind of a little frantic right there.
Fernando trying to work his way out of the double team. The veteran does well to win the throw-in. Here's Bailey off the restart. Finds Lindsay, who we haven't said his name a whole lot. This cross headed out by Clegg. How about this defensive pressure from New Mexico? Eventually resulting in the turnover. Jabang with a couple of heavy touches, but somehow New Mexico retained possession. Here's Among. Among has that deflect. Oh, shot deflected. And that's going to bring up a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico hard seltzer. New Mexico looking to take this quickly, and they do. Vargas gets it back from Fernando. There's Zalalem. Cross goes in and can't get past Matusla. Maples making the run in from the center back position. Jabang has also joined the attack. They had Chris Gloucester pretty much back there as the lone defender.
Yeah, he was there by himself. Got the 2 center backs in, the big men trying to get ahead on the ball for that corner.
Now retreating back to his center back position. Deputizing for the injured Kalen Ryden in that spot is Usman Jabang. We'll pause on that for a moment. But Jabang, he had actually been playing as holding mid for Dennis Sanchez for most of this season.
Yeah, holding mid to center back, not too big of a change, but he does have really big shoes to fill, but I think he's doing a great job so far.
And this is a guy that does have experience playing center back at a professional level. He played for Dennis Sanchez last year at Las Vegas Lights, primarily as a center back in 17 appearances. And prior to his coming over to New Mexico, he was an addition after the season had started. He was playing in MLS with CF Montreal, where he had played as a center back.
Yeah.
So somebody who is used to the position ball goes back to Herrera. What is that like, Dallas, if you're not used to playing as a center back and then you get put in that position?
It can be very nerve-wracking, I think. I mean, center back is such a crucial position to be good at, and you know, you have to be on your A game the whole time because you are that, you know, last defense.
Among able to get this back from Yosuke Hanya. There's Zalalem. Vivian Zalalem from Berlin, Germany. Previously spent time with FC Den Bosch in the second tier of the Netherlands. As Gloucester cross goes in, he was looking for Among, who's already got a goal here this evening. Another Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick coming up in New Mexico, looking to take it quickly, and they do once again. This has to be something they've seen on the film. As there are 2 corners so far, they've both rushed to take them.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado Springs wasn't really paying attention this time for that early corner, but nothing has happened so far.
Here's Bailey trying to play a ball in, just runs out of real estate. And it's going to be a goal kick coming up here for Switchbacks. Into stoppage time we go. 4 minutes added on here at the end of this first half. Stoppage time is brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Christian Herrera, I don't think he's going to leave with any new fans here this evening. Among fouled. So a free kick here for New Mexico, and the training staff called on immediately for the head injury. That'll give us time to let you know that soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all of your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. SeatGeek also the official ticketing provider of New Mexico United, and so make sure to hop on there. 9 and 5 game multi-game plans are available for the rest of the season. Also, if you're looking to bring your group out, maybe you want to do a birthday party or company outing, several group areas are available here at the lab, including the private luxury suites that they have up here. So again, another look at this TLC replay. Checked out by the training staff.
Yeah, getting hit in the head is never fun. Hurts a lot.
So look at the crowd. Pride on the Pitch night here, which has become a staple at New Mexico United matches. It's a fun night. It's a fun crowd. They did a special flag giveaway, Dallas, that they collaborated with a local artist on the design for. And so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on the New Mexico United social media channels. Really cool to see.
Yeah, really cool flag. I really like the design of it.
So look at some of the supporters in the crowd this evening. Thomas Among still being checked out by the training staff. He's on his feet at least. So Among, he's going to make his way off, and so undoubtedly going to extend this 4 minutes of stoppage time. And while we wait to resume, we'd like to let you know that if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. So back to play after a good couple of minutes. That stoppage there for the head injury to Thomas Among, and he's right back out there. So good news for New Mexico fans.
But
Heavy touch from Gloucester. Turnover. Here's Zandy. Zandy's ball looking for Johnson. Overhit. Zach Zandy, you talk about somebody who's been with Colorado Springs for what seems like forever. It's his 5th season with the club. He's nearing 100 league appearances. Approach that mark later this season. Cross that mark, I should say. Free kick here for New Mexico. So past the 4 minutes added on due to the head injury from Thomas Among. Tyler Ortega here alongside Dallas Bruce. Offside flag goes up. Rocha will get us restarted.
I think that's the 3rd time they've tried to hit that ball in a row.
They've really been looking for that one. And
yeah.
sort of picking on Chris Gloucester out there.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that that's necessarily the guy you want to pick on.
I don't think you do.
He had his hands full last week against San Antonio, but they did well. Gloucester did well specifically on his side, and then 45 minutes against FC Juarez. Didn't allow a goal. This ball finds Fernando, and didn't see what happened there, but it will be a free kick here for Switchbacks as we're winding down here in the first half. Gorgeous night in Albuquerque. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN Plus. Foul called. The official was initially playing the advantage there as Zalalam trying to plead his case, and he's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card.
Yeah, he definitely has to watch out for these fouls, and especially giving fouls away in this dangerous area this late in the half.
Another look on this TLC replay. And it was Zalalam the guilty party. He went in the book just 12 minutes ago. So Switchbacks with a free kick. Dangerous area here just before the break. Here's Rocha. Rocha, the 24-year-old, second season with Switchbacks. Scored twice last year during that title run. The ball is headed away by Jabang, and that's the first half in the books, and it's a 2-1 lead for New Mexico United as Thomas Among opened up the scoring 24 minutes in. Switchbacks answered 5 minutes later, and then it was Talon Maples stepping up to the spot in the 34th minute. Dallas, your assessment of this first half?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very physical half by both teams. I think both teams have done a really good job of creating opportunities. You know, it's 2-1 right now. I can see this going, you know, with more goals in the second half.
This one should be a lot of fun. Is Thomas Among, that's a man who scored twice in 4 days, as New Mexico will look to preserve this lead. As we're going to halftime, we've got plenty of programming coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, on the mountain we've got a saying. Get off your...
it's time to kick off a new kind of partnership. Meet Carmela from Bernalillo County Animal Care, who is ready to join the game. Your support helps give these amazing animals a chance to play, grow, and to find a loving home, just like Frank did. Visit your local shelter and discover the joy of adopting a new teammate. Together, we can make every day a winning game.
Every New Mexican deserves to age with dignity and independence. So New Mexico Aging Services provides connection, resources, and advocacy for aging adults, adults with disabilities, and caregivers across the state. From preventing mistreatment and advocating for rights, to guiding Medicare decisions, to connecting you with meals, transportation, and community, New Mexico Aging Services is by your side. Learn more at aging.nm.gov.
This year, the Jägermeister Cup will feature all 24 clubs from the USL Championship and all 14 clubs from USL League One. The 38 teams are placed in 6 groups divided by region. 4 groups will have 6 teams, 2 groups will have 7 teams. Each club will play 4 matches in group play, 2 at home and 2 away. At the conclusion of the group phase, the 6 group winners and 2 wildcard teams will enter the knockout stage. To set the quarterfinals, the wild cards are locked into slots as away teams. Group winners are drawn for spots 1 through 6, then drawn to fill the matchups from match 1 all the way to match 4. In this stage, wild card teams cannot play against the winner from their respective groups. In the semifinals, the 4 remaining teams will be drawn randomly, and the last 2 teams standing will be drawn to determine the host for the Jägermeister Cup final. Turn on your TV and get ready to be entertained. Few things can captivate a mass audience like live sports. And if a broadcast feels like magic,
a lot of people just think you flick the switch and it's easy and it magically appears, but there's so much that goes into it behind the scenes.
Mike Friedman is the Vice President and Executive Producer at NEP Media Services. For USL National Broadcasts on CBS, Friedman's team is close to 40 people.
They're led by the producer and director. That's for any production. And then from there, you have associate directors, you have graphics people, you have replay people, you have the camera operators, you have engineers, you have tech managers, all working for that one common goal of a smooth broadcast.
Now, here's something you may not know. At NEP in South Florida, hundreds of broadcasts in the USL Championship, League One, and Super League are broadcast remotely. All stadium cameras feed directly to NEP. And just like a truck on site, camera shots are switched live. And there are eyeballs on the product. In April, CBS's production of Phoenix Rising FC at San Antonio FC peaked at 776,000 viewers.
The way we do TV for other sports is different than soccer, so it's finding that sweet spot of taking what people are used to seeing and adding that American TV touch into it.
It's halftime here at the Lab. Your score, New Mexico United 2, Switchbacks FC 1. On the score sheet, it's Among and Maples for New Mexico and Tejada for Switchbacks. Let's have a look at our scores from some games going on, games that have already finalized here so far today. There's some big ones, and we've seen a couple of matches go to penalties here. Dallas is Indy and Birmingham went 7-6 in penalty kicks. Of course, a reminder, we will go to penalties if this match ends in a draw. So that's what happened between Hartford and Detroit, and also Indy and Birmingham. There you see a big-time result for Lexington over Richmond, a big 3-0, and now some other games that are going on here, games that started around the same time as us, and undoubtedly games that these two fan bases will have their eyes on. So you've got Charleston Battery taking on Tormenta as we have a look at some of these standings here from groups 1 and 2. And reminder, only the top 2 teams make it out of group play and into the knockout rounds. There's only 4 matches in group play, as we just saw in that explainer. So this one will go a long, long ways for either side, whoever wins this matchup here tonight between New Mexico and Colorado Springs. Quick look at your Jägermeister Cup team of the round in round 2. As you see, Avayevu there from Phoenix Rising getting the nod from Group 2. Your coach of the round is Bobby Murphy from Portland Hearts of Pine. 2-1 your halftime score. We'll step aside and we'll be back.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
Looking to serve one up. Bonfilio enters the 18. Mercado! He scores!
They say it's a radio show, so why are we on TV? That's a good question. We've got a lot of them for Sean McCauley. The Indy 11 head coach joins us this week.
Feel like he's got some ideas that are going to help revolutionize the Indy 11 and what the championship looks like moving forward from a recruiting standpoint. North Carolina FC ends Louisville's historic unbeaten run to start the season. What does it mean overall?
We chat about all that and more. USL All Access Tuesday night.
Welcome back to the lab. Halftime between New Mexico United and Switchbacks FC. 2-1 your halftime score, brought to you by First Financial Credit Union. Let's take a look at our first half highlights and see how we got to this point here, Dallas. Opening up the party, it was New Mexico United. Thomas Among, second goal in 4 days.
Yeah, great goal by him, great pass by Fernando, getting the scoring open, which was a great.
Free-flowing New Mexico United at it again, as that was just 23 minutes in. Thomas Among in form. He scored on Wednesday against FC Juarez, scores again tonight, and Fernando picks up his second assist in just a week as well. But Switchbacks able to answer back, and they do quickly here.
United scored. He had great composure in the box, took a couple touches, and just slotted that ball in the top bins.
It's the final MVP, Juan Tejada, with a big goal and a big moment for his side. But 6 minutes later, Talon Maples steps up, slots this one home from the spot. New Mexico retake the lead.
Yeah, Talon Maples, just a great guy to take the PK, very calm, didn't get his routine messed up by all the antics, and, slotted that ball away.
Talon Maples scores his 4th goal in all competitions this year, all from penalty kicks. As we take a quick look at our halftime stats, as New Mexico, just the slight edge in possession, but there you see with the edge when it comes to the quality of their opportunities.
Yeah, look at the stats. Switchbacks have 7 shots, but how many of those are on frame, whereas United has had a couple more on frame and gotten those in.
Second 45 coming your way on the other side of this.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
Me and my girls are anything but basic. And with the First Financial's high five checking rewards rate, we basically love living our life to the fullest. We used to wear pink on Wednesdays, but now orange is the new pink, and we wear it from head to toe every day. Ew, you have a basic bank? I got this. Nothing about me is basic, not even my credit union.
First Financial Credit Union, not a basic bank.
Dirty Heads, live in concert. Friday, July 18th, 8 p.m., Sandia Resort and Casino Amphitheater.
They say I'm crazy, but I have a good time. Life's been good to me, so
Tell it Sandia. Dirty Heads Live.
rescue me.
Gano. And that one's tipped over the bar. Are you serious? Faru.
Halftime coming to a close. Both teams back out from the locker rooms, and we're just about ready to get going with the second 45 between New Mexico United and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Welcome back to the lab in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tyler Ortega here alongside former University of New Mexico women's soccer player Dallas Bruce. Dallas, 45 minutes in the books, 45 to go. If you're New Mexico, what do you have to do to see this out for 3 points?
I think New Mexico has to keep possession, Don't be afraid to knock the ball around the back for a little bit, keeping Colorado Springs, not at their front foot.
So you've got Colorado Springs who are looking to make a comeback and keep their Jägermeister Cup hopes alive. As we mentioned, coming to the end of group play, there's just one more game in group play left after this one here tonight. Starting to take shape. A win here would go a long way for both sides. And so for Switchbacks, what do they need to change in this second half to walk out of here with a win?
I just think they need to be more dynamic in the front. I think we've seen a lot in the first half just trying to play through the right side, through their right wing. Let's see if they can, get possession more and switch the field, switch the attack, and, try and they've created a lot of chances, but, getting those chances on frame.
Looks like we've got at least one substitution for the visitors. Is Quincy Hewerman. He's on. We'll find out who he replaced. As Hewerman, he's on for Yosuke Hanya. So look to see Quincy Heuerman involved in a lot of their attacks. He was, for all intents and purposes, their main attacking weapon against San Antonio for most of that match. Now, keep in mind, Switchbacks, they lost a big piece of their goal scoring with Justin Dillon's sudden departure about a week and a half ago. And so looking to find who's going to step up and fill that goal scorer role. Switchbacks in possession. That is Heuerman, 24-year-old Frenchman. Heuerman, he's already got 1 goal in Jägermeister Cup play. Here's Johnson. Johnson was really battling with Gloucester for most of that first half. That was a ball they kept going to and going to and going to.
Yeah, I mean, it was successful the first couple times, but after that, they weren't playing the ball with the right pace.
This ball poked forward. It's going to settle here on the near side, and Talon Maples able to deflect that ball out as Zach Zandy looking to play it in. Got a corner kick coming up here for Switchbacks.
I think saving the legs for Switchbacks is going to be a hard thing to do since they did play on Wednesday, and not all of our starters played a full 90 on our Wednesday friendly.
New Mexico, of course, hosted FC Juarez for the 4th international friendly in club history. Ended 1-0 for New Mexico United. It's Heuerman ready to send this one in. Here comes the in-swinger, and that was dangerous as Tyler Clegg came through with the towering header.
Yeah, it didn't seem like any New Mexico United players are really on him. He had a free header in the box. They're lucky it wasn't on frame.
And Tyler Clegg at 6'2", he's a big target in that sort of little mesh point where everybody comes together. Fernando assisted Thomas Among's goal to open the scoring. Kale mowed over from behind, and it's going to be a free kick coming up here for New Mexico. Matt Real, the guilty party. Real played over 2,500 minutes last year for Switchbacks. Jabang seek that ball out. A goal kick coming up here for New Mexico.
I think as this half progresses, Switchbacks have to be very careful about giving those fouls if this is the score line. You know, New Mexico United's going to take their time with these free starts, these free kicks, these goal kicks, all these things.
Maples in no hurry. Eventually it's just Tambakis who sends it long, only as far as Matusla. Among playing through the contact, and down goes Among. He draws the foul in the center circle. Rocha, he receives a, we'll call it a greeting there from Talon Maples. That's what you expect to see from your captain.
Yeah, for sure. Having your players back, your teammates back.
Get another look on this TLC replay. It was Rocha who came in with a heavy challenge and had some words there for Thomas Among, and now just getting a talking to our Rocha and Maples. James Chambers watches on from the sideline. He had some words for the officials as he made his way to the halftime locker room. Just sure they were discussing the best spot to grab a breakfast burrito tomorrow morning, right?
Yes, definitely. Very nice conversation that they were having right before halftime.
Among getting checked on once again. Fans, you can watch the USL Championship and League One on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USL League One for the complete USL TV listings. This is a Jägermeister Cup match, and Jägermeister, well, they're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Looks like Thomas Among will be re-entering the match, and he's taking quite a few knocks here this evening.
Yeah, a couple to the head, you know, some lower extremities. He's going to be hurting after this game, I think.
Kale able to find Fernando here. Fernando, oh, he was looking for the link up with Vargas, who just didn't make the run. Switchbacks, they're going to look to cook something up. Instead, it's a turnover. Here's Zico Bailey trying to get a ball into the box. Now Switchbacks able to clear their lines. Here's Tejada. He's already got one goal this evening. Tejada still with the ball at his feet. Tejada, he's got two teammates with their arms both raised up.
Yeah, one teammate was definitely very open in the box, and I think Tejada should have passed it.
It was Mahoney who had made the run. Looking at the look here, and there you see Tejada closed down by 3 New Mexico United players, and Anthony Fontana, the other, just kind of asking like, hey, what's going on? We were open. Speaking of, here's Fernando. He's got space, slots it through. Thomas Among cuts it back. That was looking promising as Among already on a brace. Rare mistouch there from the veteran Fernando. Here's Johnson. On a yellow card is Levante Johnson, 26-year-old Canadian. There's Akale now. Akale creates some space. Still Akale. Scoops it over for Fernando. Fernando! And it's parried away by Herrera.
Great footwork by Akale there.
He's just so tidy in those tight spaces. He's so technically gifted.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he had 3 defenders on him, and he kept that ball.
Sort of like an escape artist. It's a modern-day Houdini.
Yes. New Mexico not in a rush to get forward, just keeping the ball back here defensively with the 2 center backs and Tambakis.
Back to Usman Jabang, the Georgia native. Fernando, ball at his feet. Banged, and that pass cut out in the midfield by Rocha. Tejada now, he's got Johnson. There's Johnson running at Maples. Johnson, that shot attempt blocked, and Talon Maples showing some emotion.
Yeah, great block by Maples. That shot would probably have been on frame.
Captain Talon Maples getting it done defensively, as he so often does, but also tonight his name in the goal scoring column with that penalty. Corner kick coming up. It's the Frenchman, Quincy Hewerman. Hewerman skies that ball well over everyone.
Yeah, overhit that ball for sure.
He's the ball manager on the far side who is the recipient of that corner kick.
Yeah.
Jalen Lindsay to throw it in here. Lindsay played the first 45 against FC Juarez. It's a turnover. Great challenge there from Usman Jabang. Had to get that ball right, and he did. Vargas now with the turnover. Here's Tejada. Tejada on a brace. That ball deflected, and that was dangerous.
Very dangerous. A silly ball given away in the midfield right there. And that deflection was very dangerous as well.
You saw Alex Tambakis was caught wrong-footed there just with that deflection, and I'm sure the 10,500 plus in attendance here tonight all holding their breath collectively for a moment. Get another look on this TLC replay. There you see Tambakis as that one narrowly missed. Corner coming up here for Switchbacks. Couple of bodies on the floor, and Among, Matt Rael both pop right up. This one's been a lot of fun here this evening as we continue to monitor some other scores from around the group. Of course, coming into this one tonight, San Antonio with the most points in group play. They are currently in the lead against Union Omaha 1-0. They're 64 minutes in. How about this? An 8-goal shootout. That's right, an 8-goal shootout between Texoma and Phoenix Rising. They're currently tied at 4 goals apiece. Late in second half stoppage as penalties seem imminent as New Mexico play this ball in. It was Lindsay, cross cutouts. Throw in coming up here. But that could be a huge draw in terms of Phoenix Rising maybe not having themselves in the best position going into the final match day of group play.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of goals for one game, and it seems like it's a pretty even match, rather, because they're both scoring.
Going here for New Mexico, Among. Looked like he got pulled to ground, but no call from the official. 60th minute here at the lab. Switchbacks looking to break, and Maples going to slide in, clear that ball away. It's the captain, one of 2 goal scorers here this evening. 34th minute penalty. For Maples, last time he found the back of the net, it wasn't just 1 penalty. It was 2. He had a brace at Orange County on May 17th in league play. Johnson going to Gloucester. Johnson trying to get to the end line, and they know it. Fernando Just looks to be feeling the effects of that challenge a little bit. He's grabbing towards his ribs, his midsection. Looks to be all right. Give a little thumbs up. Fernando out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And a look, here's the corner kick coming up. Huerman plays it short. Huerman gets it back. Dangerous area. Huerman shot blocked by Jalen Lindsay. All the way back to Herrera. Well, it's been a while since Christian Herrera has touched the ball, and we only know that, Dallas, because we haven't heard the chorus of boos erupt from the 10,000 plus here.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to touch the ball for the rest of the night, just because of the boos that happen when he does.
He's playing some mind games with Talon Maples before the penalty in the first half. Ended up getting booked for it, and then conceded the penalty moments later. Nice dummy there from Fernando as he lets it run. Akale, he's got support on either side. Elects to keep it, does Akale. Ball still loose. Somehow Akale, and got too much of that one.
Yeah.
Kwele Akale, 45 minutes versus FC Juarez, but last Saturday he played into second half stoppage against San Antonio, had 1 goal, 1 assist, assisted Jalen Lindsay's opener in the 10th minute. For Akale, he's been one of the main playmakers in the midfield for this New Mexico United squad this season. I shouldn't say in the midfield, he plays primarily on the wing, but 5 assists in league play as Tejada slides in, and that judged to have been very cynical. Alex Tambakis taking exception to it as Juan Tejada shown yellow.
Yeah, very aggressive play right there. Not something I would have done. Tambakis has the right to be a little mad.
Juan Tejada now receiving a talking to. We're getting a look here, and here there's a reason you don't see that play very often.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as a soccer player and even as a watcher, I think you know the goalkeeper is going to pick it up right at the last second, and that's exactly what he did, and sliding in is not the best idea.
Yellow card shown to Juan Tejada. That yellow card presented by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. So Tejada goes into the books. So we got some score updates here for you. Plenty more matches to go here this evening, as well as a late development between Phoenix and Texoma. That 8-goal shootout, Dallas, has turned to a 9-goal shootout. Phoenix rising with a late lead, 5-4. So we're going to see a switch here for James Chambers. We'll see Jonas Fjellberg coming in. So he'll replace Levante Johnson. Substitutions brought to you by Chiba Hut, toasted subs and sandwiches.
Still seems like Switchbacks want to go to that right winger, and they play that throw in pretty fast.
We've got some fresh legs there as the ball comes in, and Switchbacks equalize 65 minutes in. It's Fontana and the substitute Fjellberg with the assist.
Yeah, great sub, great contribution to the team, a great assist, great ball in.
Big time result there for Switchbacks as Fontana celebrates, and now New Mexico making a couple of changes of their own. Some offensive reinforcements here in Daniel Bruce and Sergio Rivas, as Thomas Among and Marlon Vargas will head out for a breather. That is a look at the Fontana equalizer. And you called it right before, Dallas. That's a ball that they've been going to over and over and over and over, and eventually, finally, it pays off.
Yeah, I can see them still. I think they'll still be going for that ball because of the success they just had. The goal scorer was in a great spot, a great cross, cut back in, for a nice and easy finish.
Sergio Rivas, the Albuquerque native from Cibola High School. It's just down the street from where you went to high school.
It is my high school rival, I would say.
High school rival. Dallas, an Albuquerque native here from Volcano Vista High School. Is so much incredible talent here in the state of New Mexico. Maples looking to hit a long ball of his own, and overhits Jalen Lindsay. Not something you say too often with the speed of Lindsay. Through ball looking for Tejada, but closed off by Maples. And Maples, you can tell he's comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Yes, he is. I think United just has to settle back into this game, get possession back and, keep playing how they were playing in the beginning.
Here's Matusla. Well, just over 20 minutes plus stoppage time remained. Switchbacks thought they were on to something, but eventually Rocha whistled for offside. Actually, they're going to say it was out for a throw-in. New Mexico looking for another response. Here's Gloucester. He's got Fieldberg on his back. Rivas looking to be an impact sub. Sergio Rivas. He's been with his hometown club since 2021. Came on as a second half sub against FC Juarez. A great showing in the midfield. Here's Gloucester. Tried his best but couldn't keep it in.
I think both teams have settled into the second half now that they're tied again. Playing that ball to the right side again.
Here they go looking to pick on Chris Gloucester, but up to the task. Finds Zalalem, and now New Mexico looking to get this ball upfield. Kale. Just the third match in 7 days here for New Mexico. Third match in 8 days for Switchbacks. Here's Rivas. Finds Bailey. Back to Zalalem now. McCauley able to get a touch to that. Bouncing around, finally settled by Zalalem.
United does such a great job of, once they lose the ball, getting pressure on it right away, and it's paid off for them tonight.
Here's Rivas. Rivas is looking for a ball into the box.
Switchbacks are totally okay with United center backs having the ball. They don't even step to them.
Rivas looking to make something happen, and instead comes back out to Maples. Maples now looking to play a cross in. Instead comes back to Rivas. Throw in taken quickly to Kale. Akale goes in. Bruce tried for the acrobatic.
Great awareness to take that throw in quickly. Saw that their outside back was down.
That would have been something special there from Daniel Bruce. Here's Lindsay. Feeds this one in. He had Fernando. Finds Rivas now, sends another cross in, and the header there from Daniel Bruce over the crossbar. Christian Herrera goes down. Take a look on this replay. Replay is brought to you by TLC. Didn't see a whole lot as Herrera didn't really have to make a play on that ball. Now, this is something that we've seen from Christian Herrera a little bit this season. We saw this just 3 weeks ago, actually, when the Switchbacks played here, to receive some attention just like this 2 or 3 times during the match, and then same thing against San Antonio in that second half as well. So some of the crowd well, we've got a moment, fans. We'd like to let you know that eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Let's see Dennis Sanchez just having a word with Gideon Zalalem. Sanchez, 1 win out of 1 so far here at home in Jägermeister Cup play. The draw that they went into penalties with Phoenix was out at 38th in Washington.
The crowd definitely telling Herrera how they feel right now.
So TLC free kick. Charlie Adams has also entered the match for Switchbacks. Here's Zandy. Zandy gets into the box, and Maples, timely challenge.
Great tackle by Maples there.
There's Fjellberg now. Fjellberg, ball comes in, punched away by Tambakis, but Tambakis also made contact there with Jalen Lindsay. There's a double change for Switchbacks that took place just a couple of minutes ago with Charlie Adams and Isaiah Foster both coming on. Matt Real and Aiden Rocha head off. Those substitutions brought to you by Chiba Hut. Toasted subs and sandwiches. So Switchbacks, they know 3 points would go a long way. Both players look to be okay, and Tambakis and Jalen Lindsay following that collision. Well, and somebody said something over there on that Switchbacks bench. There was a red card that was shown. As you can see, someone's headed to the locker room.
Yeah.
So red card shown to the bench. Is New Mexico looking to strike quickly here off the return, but the offside flag is raised.
I guess it's not only getting heated on the field, but as well with the benches and the coaches.
Absolutely, Dallas is. You know, we talked about some of the implications here for tonight's matches. It's not an elimination match, but it'll sure do you a big, big favor if you can win it when it comes to getting out of group play. And ultimately, it's another chance at silverware. Switchbacks, they got a taste of what that was like last fall, adding the first star above their crest. Massive victory over Rhode Island. But of course, a different looking Switchback side. That was closed down by Bruce and sends this one long. Maples giving chase to it, but so is Fjellberg. Was able to get on the end of it momentarily, and Maples now draws the foul. Fjellberg just checking on Maples. Good show of sportsmanship. That's not good. You see Maples holding that shoulder. New Mexico just lost one of their starting center backs to a collarbone.
Yes, that's not a good sight to see.
Yeah. Take another look here as Maples, see, perhaps just sort of falls on that shoulder. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's some contact going down there. He looks to be all right. We're back to it. Just over 10 minutes plus stoppage time left in this one. If we're still tied, we will go to penalties. Just a reminder, it is Jägermeister Cup. And so a draw means each team gets 1 point, and the winner of the penalty shootout gets an extra point. And so they'll walk out of here with 2. Which could be huge whenever it comes to these group standings. San Antonio still in control of Omaha 1-0. So we've got our official attendance number here tonight, 10,747 fans in attendance. Attendance brought to you by New Mexico Mutual, but what a night, what an atmosphere here at the lab tonight, Dallas.
Great atmosphere. Now that the sun has gone down, it's cooler weather. It feels great. I can't imagine how it feels on the pitch right now, but great atmosphere with all the fans here supporting.
There's a look at our current conditions. As you just alluded to, the sun's gone down. It's cooled off quite a bit. It's Fernando battling with Mahoney there. The official plays the advantage and now blows his whistle as Rivas goes to ground.
And the yellow has been shown.
Another yellow card, this time to Fontana. Fontana scored the equalizer in the 65th minute. Now goes into the officials' book.
Yeah, this match definitely getting a little bit chippier as the time goes on.
Well, New Mexico, they left it late last Saturday night right here on this pitch as they were taking on San Antonio. 2 second-half stoppage time goals to seal the deal there. Of course, wouldn't like to leave it that late if they had the option, as Akale sends this one in, and no problem there for Herrera.
Again, having that height, you probably can get to a lot of those balls.
Makes it just a little easier to high point that one.
Yeah.
Lindsay being drugged down, and now a yellow card comes out. It's another yellow card, this time for the sub, Quincy Hewerman. Yellow cards really starting to add up now.
Yeah. I mean, when you do drag down a player like that, it most likely will be a yellow.
This is a dangerous area here for New Mexico. That yellow card was brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years.
Yeah, switchbacks have to be careful. They've given away 2 fouls in dangerous areas. Let's see if New Mexico can capitalize on them.
Akale and Bailey both standing over this one. Zico Bailey sending this one in, and Zico Bailey sending this one out. Philippine international Zico Bailey. Bailey with 12 caps for his nation. 1 goal. What an honor that is. As Herrera, he's found himself in some trouble, able to work his way out.
Yeah, very fortunate for Herrera that he is good with his feet and able to get in between those 2 New Mexico United forwards.
That could have been absolutely disastrous. Not just for Herrera, but for Colorado Springs as well.
Yeah.
As Lindsay loses possession only momentarily. New Mexico able to come back. '84th minute. Tyler Ortega here alongside Dallas Bruce.
Great ball.
What a turn from Zico Bailey, and this ball played away. Tejada giving chase, but they're going to whistle it back for a foul. All the way back to where the kick took place. We're going to see another Switchbacks substitution. So Duke Lacroix comes in for Anthony Fontana, which makes sense with Fontana having just gotten booked. Lacroix, a USL veteran, over 250 career league appearances.
Wow. I think Switchbacks are trying to get some fresh legs in to, keep pushing the ball forward.
New Mexico looking to break. Here comes Fernando. Fernando dancing, and Fernando has his shot blocked.
That was good defense by Switchbacks, keeping their feet, not letting the dancing by Fernando, rattle them.
Easy to get caught up in the flair shown by the Brazilian. He danced his way around the San Antonio keeper last Saturday as Bailey went to ground, maybe a little too easily in the officials' eyes. So Zico Bailey will be replaced, as will Makwele Akale. In for them are Mackenzie Gaines and Thomas Pondeka. Those substitutions brought to you by Chiba Hut, toasted subs and sandwiches. So Thomas Pondeka, the 23-year-old on loan from FC Dallas, looking to make a difference here over the final 5 minutes for New Mexico.
Yeah, and I think New Mexico is just trying to get some fresh legs, especially higher up in the field, trying to create a goal so they don't have to go into the penalties.
Also keeping in mind that penalties are a real possibility at this moment. Gaines, his first touches here tonight. Pondeka able to work his way out of that tight space. It's Fernando now. Fernando on the other side, drugged down. Undoubtedly a yellow card. There it comes for Matusla. And New Mexico, free kick in a dangerous area here in the 88th minute.
Very, very dangerous area. I think Fernando would have gotten past him if he didn't, get drugged down.
Absolutely. I think that was Matusla realizing what the two different options were and saying, I got to take this one for the team.
Yeah. I mean, you'd rather have a free kick than an open shot at goal.
So this one is essentially like a short corner from this distance, this area.
You should set it up like a corner. You're going to have a wall, which is a little bit different, but, just take a little bit off. That's what I would do, is take a little bit off than a corner.
Well, it's Fernando standing over this one. He's got Gaines next to him. Fernando goes to Zalalam, and Gideon Zalalam sends it over the crossbar.
Yeah, that was a great idea by Fernando. He saw that he was at the top of the box, nobody marking him. Unfortunate that he couldn't get the shot on frame.
Great idea, but you're looking at somebody who's scored twice in over 115 appearances and naturally plays as a 6, and so guess you could sort of expect that result.
Yeah.
Zadeta is just chewing away some of these seconds. Pondeka does well to win the ball. Here comes Pondeka now. Pondeka is so technical.
Yeah, Pondeka doing a great job of keeping that ball driving and then still keeping that ball.
Pondeka, the former U.S. men's national futsal team player.
Oh, very interesting. Very cool.
So it gives you an idea why he's so tidy in those close spaces. He's made 17 caps for the U.S. men's national futsal team. Here's Fernando. Fernando has switched sides since Mackenzie Gaines came on.
Yeah, I do like him. I like seeing him on the right side. I do think he'll produce more crosses on this side since he is playing on the right.
Here's Pondeka. Pondeka's shot attempt is blocked, but it wins a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick as 90 minutes have come and gone. We're into stoppage time. Stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. 5 minutes added on. A minimum of 5 minutes. So can the Kings of Chaos do it once again? Mackenzie Gaines standing over this corner. Former MLS man. Sends the outswinger. Comes back to Gloucester. Rivas. There's Lindsay. Lindsay cross goes in and was looking to connect with Daniel Bruce. And instead, they say that deflects off of the Englishman. And it's going to be a goal kick here for Switchbacks. Bruce is trying to plead his case.
We all know how pleading your case is to go with the ref.
New Mexico find themselves in possession once again. Only momentarily. Here comes Huerman. Switchbacks looking to play spoiler here at the lab. Here's Fjellberg. Cuts it back. Fjellberg off the post. That was the moment for Switchbacks.
Yeah, he's going to definitely want that one back. From up here, I thought that was going in. And it went off the post. Luckily for New Mexico United.
As we take another look on this replay, Fjellberg showing great control. He has been the definition of an impact sub.
Yeah, I agree. Came in, got an assist right away, had this great opportunity right here.
Final substitution being made here for New Mexico. Will Seymour is on to replace Jalen Lindsay. So both teams well into their bench here at this point. A minimum of 2.5 minutes remain here of second half stoppage time. If this holds, we'll go to penalties. Gaines goes back to Pondeka. Cross goes in from Gaines. Naples does well to control that ball. And Gloucester somehow keeps it in. Gaines tracks it down. He's looking for Bruce, but couldn't get on the end of it. There, the foul called against Gideon Zalalem. Again, he's got to be careful. On a yellow card is Zalalem. Switchbacks in no hurry to resume play. They look like they're content with a point and heading to penalties for potentially 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. They're not in a rush to take this free kick at all, pushing everybody forward. The keeper, taking his time.
Fernando flicks this on for Rivas. New Mexico looking for one last opportunity. Rivas has that ball cleared away, but it's still a throw in here for the home side. Into Seymour. The black and yellow veteran. Seymour plays a ball in and over the heads of everybody. And so, Alice, it looks like penalties might be in our future.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Taking his time here is Christian Herrera. And that is the end of the 90 minutes, and so 1 point apiece for New Mexico United and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. But that means we are headed to penalty kicks. The winner of this penalty shootout will walk away with 1 extra point here tonight, which, as we've talked about, Dallas, this knockout rounds picture is now starting to really take shape. That extra point could go a long way here this evening.
Yeah, I think that extra point's gonna, be a very good thing for either of the teams.
And so there's Dennis Sanchez and Luke Sanford. Sanford, the first assistant coach. They're going to go through their lineups and see exactly who's going to be taking these penalty kicks. And so for New Mexico, not an unfamiliar situation, Dallas. They actually had this situation last time in their most recent Jägermeister Cup match against Phoenix Rising, where they actually lost in that penalty shootout.
Yes, I did see that they lost in the penalty shootout. So hopefully they've been practicing, refined, who's going to take it, and we'll see what happens.
So James Chambers having a word with his side now. Going into a penalty shootout, what's the mentality like as a player in this moment?
It's, to me, the mentality, what I've always done is focus on myself. There's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be the other team trying to disrupt your routine. But, I love taking PKs. I love the pressure. I thought it was always super fun and rewarding because, I had that routine down.
So you love taking the PKs. I feel like you don't hear that all too often. Some people tend to shy away from them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do tend to shy away from because of the pressure, and it's so you can sway the table so by either making it or missing it, and it's hard to come back from a miss, I think, in a penalty shootout.
Well, in New Mexico, they know how that goes. In that penalty shootout against Phoenix Rising, they were facing elimination. They were able to bring it back to 3-3, and then eventually Phoenix able to walk away with that one. But let's go ahead and have a look at our highlights that got us to this point. This was a very entertaining game, Dallas. We got things started early. We'll get those queued up for you here in just a moment. But let's flash back. Let's have a look at this second half. 54th minute, we'll pick things back up. It was New Mexico with a dangerous opportunity, but Christian Herrera, it seemed like every time the ball went in, he was there.
Yeah, he did a very good job with his positioning, winning balls like this, and also free kicks and corners as well.
This game, there was plenty of chances as Miquele Akale looking to pull the strings. It always seems like he and Fernando involved in whatever New Mexico have going on offensively. Now, 3 minutes later, switchbacks. This time, it's Johnson with a chance that's blocked by a sliding Talon Maples.
Yeah, great slide by Talon. You could see the emotion on his face after that. And, just a good job for the time of the game that was going on.
What is that like as a center back when you make a sliding block like that?
It's so awesome. It's a really good feeling.
10 minutes after that block, it was switchbacks striking. That time, Anthony Fontana, he goes upper 90, beating Tambakis at the near post.
Yeah, a great positioning, great cross that was cut back. The sub that came on, he's been very impactful.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever penalty shootout at the Lab.
Wow. I'm so excited that I'm here to witness this.
What an occasion. And here we go. Alex Tambakis getting the crowd riled up behind him as these penalties will take place on the goal in front of the supporters section. Tambakis will hear from the official, not just Tambakis, Herrera will be called in as well. To clarify that, it's not like Tambakis did something wrong and was receiving a talking to, but here we go. I believe it's Charlie Adams who's standing at the spot.
Yeah, taking these PKs in front of the supporters section hopefully will give New Mexico United an edge, especially with Christian Herrera in the goal and, you know, how the fans have been reacting to him tonight.
So it is Charlie Adams, the Englishman, second half substitute to get things started in this shootout. And it's saved by Tambakis.
What a save by Tambakis. He read it the whole way. I think it even came off his face a little bit.
Well, the league's all-time saves leader with another save. Massive here tonight.
It's always good to get a save on the first PK. You set your team up for success.
And now, tonight's player to watch, Fernando stepping up to the spot for New Mexico. Fernando already with an assist here tonight. Herrera in goal. Fernando. And he sends it over the goal. And we're even. So it's Quincy Heuerman up next. Fernando just didn't strike it cleanly. And so Heuerman at the spot. It's the Frenchman. And Heuerman drills that one into the back of the net.
Yeah, he buried that. Had a very strong shot on that, and then giving the crowd not what they want to see.
So Switchbacks take the lead here in this penalty shootout. Up next for the black and yellow, Usman Jabang. Jabang gets Herrera going the wrong way, and we're deadlocked at one apiece. Big time there from Usman Jabang.
Yeah, very, very calm and collected. It looked like he was, and, you know, just buried that into the opposite side that Herrera was going.
Jabang did not take a penalty against Phoenix. So this is Duke Lacroix. Lacroix also gets Tambakis going the wrong way.
Yeah, he buried that into the corner. Even if Tambakis guessed the right way, I don't know if he would have gotten that.
Talon Maples stepping up to the spot. Maples had his penalty saved against Phoenix Rising in that shootout, but he's already scored one here tonight. Now, this is interesting. Do you go same spot? Do you switch it up?
Yeah, me as a player, I did switch it up, but we'll see what Talon does.
Maples. Cool as a cucumber. Talon Maples evens things up.
It's always great to have your captain go up there. Even though he already took a PK in this game, he does a great job of, you know, going and scoring again.
How about the placement on that ball? So up next, Zach Zandy for Switchbacks. Zandy has it saved. Tambakis stands taller than the columns at the Acropolis, and the Greek goalkeeper puts his side ahead.
That is a great save by Tambakis. Guessed the correct way, got his hands on the ball. A great way to pump up your next player.
Chris Gloucester steps up now for New Mexico. Gloucester smashes it home! And a save here from Tambakis or a miss from Switchbacks will seal it.
Yeah, Gloucester just got Herrera going the wrong way and, buried that ball in the back of the net. Crucial PK here for the Switchbacks.
And who else but their captain, Matt Mahoney, looking to keep this match alive. Mahoney goes off the woodwork. New Mexico prevail in the first ever penalty shootout here at the Lab in front of 10,500. 2 saves from Tambakis. The black and yellow walk away with the extra point.
Yeah, 2 crucial saves by Tambakis. Great job by him. Also, a great job by the New Mexico United players who did bury their PKs.
What an incredible match we just had the pleasure of calling, Dallas.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, but I need your breakdown of this match that we just saw.
Oh my gosh, so much has happened, in this match that we saw. So many goals, so many yellows, so many fouls. I just think the energy from both the Switchbacks and United was very high, very electric. You could tell they knew something was on the line coming into this game and getting these points. A great job by both the Switchbacks and United, keeping possession, getting some goals, and, PKs are always, something different.
And so the teams shaking hands after this one. That is Talon Maples, as Talon Maples is your man of the match, brought to you by Pepsi. Not only did he convert his penalty in the penalty shootout, but he also scored from the spot. Talon Maples also with your save of the match with that huge save that he had in the 56th minute. And the play of the match for New Mexico, well, that's going to go to Thomas Among for his opener in the 24th minute. What a match. New Mexico prevails in penalties. We'll be back to have a look at the full-time highlights and stats. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Full time here at the Lab, but not without a little bit of late drama as we have a look at the penalty shootout. It's the first time we've ever seen a penalty shootout here at the Lab, Dallas, and it started off with a couple of misses, but then each team found their groove.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of misses in the beginning is not what you want to see, you know, rather the Switchbacks or United, but they had great players come in and, you know, score some goals.
Duke Lacroix able to convert on his chance there. Then it was followed up by Talon Maples, who stuck home his second penalty kick of the evening. But this was the moment. Tambakis with the save on Zach Zandy. Then a little bit more work to be done. Gloucester smashes his penalty home. And the final one here from Matt Mahoney goes begging off the woodwork. That's the second time Switchbacks have hit that singular post tonight.
Yeah, that post was not their friend tonight, but Tambakis did a great job with those saves.
A look at our full-time stats here after this one. Now, Dallas, what do the numbers tell you?
Yeah, I mean, Switchbacks had a lot of shots, but not a lot on target. And you can see, same with the United, their shots on target also happened to be their goals. You know, New Mexico United had the higher possession, with especially later in the second half when they were just switching the ball between their backs. And then 6 yellow cards for Switchbacks. That is a lot of yellow cards in one game.
Our official was certainly busy here this evening, but it's New Mexico prevailing with the victory, as we'll keep an eye on Group 2 here in Jägermeister Cup play. And so up next for the Black and Yellow, it's a trip to the Steel City, as they'll be out taking on Riverhounds on the 4th of July. So make sure to check that one out. It'll be plenty of fun. That's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight. Big thank you to Dallas Bruce making her broadcasting debut here this evening. For Gary Williams, our producer, my name's Tyler Ortega. We're back here at the Lab on July 12th.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.